Welcome to Blake Street Banter, where one of us knows what the other. Welcome to Blake Street Banter, where one of us knows what the word banter means. The other one is just along for the ride, and the other one is late as usual. What up, Noah? How you doing?
I'm doing great, man. It's been a while, but we got another Thursday off day to talk some Rockies, and might as well dive right in, right?
Yeah, seriously, like it's kind of nice, like how we have the Thursday set up. It's either going to be an afternoon game or it's going to be an off day, and so like it's literally you could go a full week even without the Rockies with Rocky stuff, and like that's awesome. We got Kyle Freeland doing a rehab right now, so like we kind of do have the Rockies going all day, all week.
Big things are happening, and I mean, me and you, we've gotten the chance to go into ballparks. You went to St. Louis. It's crazy. Blake Street Banner hit 10,000 listens today on Spot. Is that?
Yeah, that on just Spotify. That does not include the Apple or the YouTube or anything else. That was just Spotify, which is still pretty cool.
Yeah, everything's trending up. You know,
all the way up, baby. We are working on some things in the background. We're actually gonna have a team meeting after this. Like we're gonna figure some things out. Watch out for this draft coverage. I swear to God, Tyler and Mike are gonna do some work, and Luke, and the draft coverage is going to be insane, and we're going to keep hyping it up because it's going to be nuts. And we got a card giveaway going. We got some new followers. We got some boots on the ground from a new follower today, sharing Albuquerque Kyle Freeland strikeouts. I absolutely love this community. I love where we're at. I love where BSB is. And it's like it's stupid. Like we're literally in our basements of where we're at. And like, it's just happening. And here we are kind of doing cool things. And it's just freaking awesome, man. It's just good times.
I mean, it's rewarding because the effort that everyone on the team puts in, you know, it's nice to, we've always gotten the recognition from our community, but now that community is expanding, it's even more rewarding.
Yeah, absolutely. And huge shout out to Mike. Like Mike is just like, you know what? I'm going to learn how to do graphics in 2 months, and I'm going to just start cooking in the lab and just do his own version of how I had it ready. What's the drug thing?
The Trunk.
No, the show where they're in Albuquerque. Everybody loves it. Better Call Saul, but like,
okay. I don't want
Breaking Bad. His Breaking Bad, his own little Breaking Bad. Not doing drugs, but doing like graphics, like in the lab doing work. That was terrible. You can just skip ahead 15 seconds and just get back that 15 seconds that you just missed. But yeah, just huge shout out to Mike, man. Mike is a freaking grinder and it's awesome. But let's get down. Let's get some of the other stuff out of the way. Freeland's rehabbing tonight. He's back out there for the fourth. I thought he was maybe only going 3 innings pitched. I cannot see the amount of pitches on the counter, but he's been pretty efficient. 1 run allowed in his 3 innings of work. We'll keep you updated with what that final stat line is. Maybe when I'm done talking, I'll try to figure out how to do closed captions. Ryan Rollison is doing a rehab stint in Spokane sometime this week. Don't know how long or what that looks like, but that is fantastic to see. I don't know. What do we see Ryan Rollison this year at all, or like in a big league club?
It'd be tough just because in years past, the Rockies' arms have just been beaten and battered and bruised with injuries. And then right now it's kind of weird, like majorly for the last month or two, the arms have been doing great, the starters especially. Mm-hmm. And on the horizon, you have K-Free, like you talked about, Herman. I don't know how close Antonio is going to be, but I know Bud Black said Herman would be ideally right around the All-Star break, and that's just about a month away. So
yeah,
I'm not sure if Rollison makes it this year, but we'll see. I mean, Chivili's got the chance, and yeah, we're taking chances on some young guys, which we love, of course.
Right. Like if you're going to do it at all, like this is the year. So like, why not give Rollison a few more innings at the big league club, even if he's not great, but healthy, like see what you have for the upcoming years. So we'll see about that. Huge shout out to Bud Black, like incredible feat, like big if true, which is insane. But like this feat would make 100% sense. He has 500 wins. He's the only manager ever with 500 wins with 2 different teams and 100 as a starting pitcher or pitcher at all. Like that is just a lifetime of baseball wins, games, everything involved. Like insane. Huge shout out to Bud for just that longevity.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. It's a huge accomplishment. Nobody's ever done it before, like you said. And It was kind of funny. We were talking about his memory just blows us away.
Dude, insane.
Coors Field, he recalls everything, and you got just a 1-game taste of it, and it caught your attention.
Yeah, Tony, love the profile pic. Finally could catch one of these podcasts live. Keep up all the good work. You guys are always a great listen. Make sure you just type in the chat all day. Be with us, Tony. Hang out. Yeah, like that post-game presser. That was my first post-game, pre-game presser with Bud Black, and the pre-game presser got off the rails. It became a, can you name that Sacramento King?
Yep.
Which was wild. And then at the end, it was a tough loss. It was when the bullpen blew it. And he was just going play by play, pitch by pitch from like 3 or 4 different starters. He reset himself to actually go into detail. It was absolutely insane. So like he's there all day and watching every single bit of it. Like it's just incredible. So huge shout out to him. And then last but not least, let's do the card giveaway. I don't have it to show, but the Adele Amador giveaway card, pretty sick. Huge shout out to Grant, friend of the pod, like family of the pod, just a huge supporter of the pod. Glad you're part of this community with us, and a whole bunch of Rockies cards. So get used to it, get ready for it. Some Tovies in there. There's some First Bowman Yankee L's in there. Like I took the Vladimir Restituyo one, so that might not be out there, but and so yeah, just sharing some of these responses. We'll see if this works. Share screen. I want this one, and nope, I want this one. So here is the card. Hopefully we can all see it. I can't see my screen. It works good enough, right? So the nice little 45, number 45 from 2023 Bowman Chrome set, Del Amador. I thought it was fitting for his debut. Won't read all these, but the question was, who is your favorite debut of all time? Of any sport, any team ever. And we had a gambit of things. Jordan Love, Shaq, Trevor Story was a huge one.
Yeah.
A lot of people remember Trevor Story. David Dahl, being able to follow him in Grand Junction, Jesse Van Meter here to watch this rookie league to the show, which is just incredible. I loved this answer from Ethan. Joe Rock, he's an amazing pitcher when he was with the Rockies, currently with the Rays, and Durham is still doing excellent big things. Just the fact that Joe Rock had people watching him, not debut yet, still hasn't made his debut, who we will be watching when he does make that debut. Just love that. Jason Jennings, Mike with the Jameis Winston debut. What a weirdo. Cal McCarr, hopefully I said that right. He was on here 2 or 3 times. Kindle, you're a Broncos fan. You might know this. Cale Hinton. Remember his debut? Kendall Hinton?
Yeah, it was the Broncos got all their quarterbacks. They weren't allowed to play because of the COVID year. And we started a wide receiver, Kendall Hinton, who went to the Hall of Fame because of that start, or at least his wristband did. So he's a Hall of Fame.
Love that. I wasn't aware of that. My kid's T-ball game. That was a sweet debut. Wynton Bernard. So just a whole bunch of other ones. I'm just going to scroll like this, and you tell me when to stop.
Stop.
The Griggity, Zach Neto. He didn't do great in it, but it was still cool to witness a high-level prospect debut for the first time in my life. I believe it was me and James. We were in, I think it was Dudes Weekend, Guys Trip. There he is.
Hey.
And we got to see, was it Juan Nicasio's debut?
Yes, it was. He got
that was
straight from AA.
That was sweet. That was awesome. So seeing a debut live, it just hits a little bit different. So that's fun. I love that Griggity was able to share that with Zach Neto. And Griggity, check your DMs as soon as I get off this and stop talking and let James and Noah do their thing. I will send you a DM. Go Rocks.
Aaron, I'm curious, Aaron. Were you a little bit upset that your time in St. Louis didn't get to cover Amador's debut?
Dude, I was so mad. Like, literally, it was leaving because I went to the game as a fan the next day, and as I'm walking to the stadium, we have a few neighborhood breweries around the town, and I'm seeing Adele Amador getting the call up. I'm like, no, it was after the game. It was before the game. It was before the game on Saturday, and he was getting the call up to come play on Sunday. Like, this sucks. But
there was some confusion, like lack of clarity too from the Rockies because they didn't know how bad B-Rod was going to be hurt, and so officially it was a weird situation. But he's up, and the future's bright. James, it's been forever. How are you?
Yeah, welcome back, right, to myself. Yeah, been a hot minute since I've been plugged into the Rockies here. Was in Thailand for a month, so ready to get after it.
Yeah, I think. What did you get back to the States? How recently did you get back?
It's been 10 days now.
Okay, so you've been back. I was gonna say if you got back just yesterday, the Rockies welcomed you back with a resounding 17-9 loss. But I'm glad that it wasn't your fault that's why that happened.
No, I've caught a couple wins in between then. So
yeah, I mean, we can break down just how they've been playing recently on the road trip, 7-game road trip. They split with St. Louis, and that's a place that they really haven't won that much ever. And then they went to Minnesota, and they lost a series, but they didn't get swept. And so a 3-4 road trip, I almost feel like that's
a W.
That's a win.
Rockies history, like that's definitely a W.
Yeah, I mean, so they come back to Coors Field. They play tomorrow, and they start a 10-game homestand, which is their longest of the whole season, against the Pirates, the Dodgers, and the Nationals. And so it's going to be a really fun next 10 days. I'm excited to cover it from in the stadium. But I think first we just kind of got to talk about, are the kids, how have they been playing? And so this year, especially, it feels like the Rockies have had a little bit of a shift in mentality as an organization. When they call someone up, they like to give them a chance. And so just early on, Adael Amador, he's played every single day since getting called up. And so far, he only has 2 hits, but one was from the right side, one was from the left side. So you see some of that switch hitting talent coming in. Another rookie that got the call up in St. Louis was Greg Jones. And he's started just a handful of times, but really has just been a late innings defensive replacement if the Rockies are ahead, kind of what Jake Cave used to do. But recently, Jake Cave's been playing every day. He started every day in Minnesota. Michael Tolia came up for the road trip, and he played in all 7 games. Boy, he looked like a different player than what he did early on. 7 games, he hit 273 with 5 ribbies on the trip, and then he made a home run robbery in right field in St. Louis, which was exciting to watch. And but yeah, those are exciting. That's exciting stuff. The guys that just came up. I don't know, James, if you've been able to catch any of the games, but early returns, I think it's been pretty encouraging.
No, yeah, I've definitely caught up with it. Amador getting called up was a little bit of a surprise. I mean, he was obviously struggled at Double-A and then just went on a tear, and then they called him up right away, and that was actually super relieving to see, because in the past, Aaron and I, we would talk about how frustrating it is that they don't let the kids play, right? And so the season, it's not going the way that you want to, or at least you're not contending. So it's like, yeah, why don't you call up these guys, give them a shot? And so seeing Amador get called up, that was super fun, and it is really fun. Even though he only has 2 hits so far, it's really cool to be able to see his progression. And just know he's involved. That's a really good reason to just tune into a game, no matter what the outcome's going to be or how you feel about how the season is going. Tolia is really interesting because he struggled, got set down, and now he's back up. And like you said, he looks like a completely different player, which is fantastic to see. I really want to know why that is, though, right? What do you think is the reason that he's playing a little bit different? Do you think it's actually something he's worked on, or do you think it's just a mental switch, or it's just consequence? I mean, what's your feeling on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think with how, and this is, I guess, hypothetical because I can't speak from experience, of course, but with how pressure-filled MLB is, and how it's a game of failure, right? The best players only succeed at the plate 35% of the time. Momentum is such a big thing. And for his first game back, he made the home run robbing catch in right, and I believe had 2 hits. And then the next night, he had that Little League grand slam, which was a triple with the air. I think the strikeouts will be an issue with Michael, but that's been a thing. As Bud Black says, there's a walk in there for some pitchers. There's a strikeout in the game of Michael Toglia. But I think confidence is just a big thing. And when you go up to the plate looking to be the aggressor instead of reacting every single pitch, it might just all be mental for Michael, I think.
I think that's a great point. Momentum. I really love the way you phrase that. Momentum is huge. And as you saw with Jackson Holliday getting called up to the Orioles, he never got any momentum. And he's, theoretically, and I mean, obviously he's one of the top prospects in the game, but when he got called up, he never got any momentum. Right. So I really love the way you put that.
And
I come in here real quick.
Ooh.
So before I give this, Michael Toglia in April was batting .093 with a 372 slug. In his 7 games back in June, he's hitting 273 with a 710 OPS. He already has he has more hits in June than he did in April in about half the plate appearances. So that momentum that you were both just speaking of is true. But this is a good question. Are you guys, thank you, Tony, are you guys a Montero or Toglia supporter? I want both to have their chance, but I personally don't believe that they both can't get enough plate appearances on the Rockies. And James, you go first.
I think it's time to let Toglia kind of do his thing. Monty's been struggling a lot, and he's had plenty of opportunities. That's not a knock against him. He obviously has the talent to do what we want him to do, but it's just he's not producing right now. So it's time to, take a step back from him, let Toglia do his thing, let his momentum, as Noah elegantly put, to carry him forward. So let's go with Toglia at this point, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you. I think in Monty's struggles early on, he's hitting the ball hard. He's hitting the ball to the warning track. It's getting caught. That still has continued. But the last 15 games, the struggles have just reached a new low. He's hitting 146 over his last 15 games with just a 229 slugging percentage. So when he hits it, it's a single at best. And the K rate, it's bounced up a little bit to 29% in the last 15 games. And he's made so many improvements to not strike out, not swing and miss compared to last year. I think it's one of the biggest jumps in baseball in terms of K percentage. But it's almost last year we saw more power, and so it was more of an all or nothing approach. And this year it really is when he's hitting, it doesn't even the power has gone away while the swing and miss has gone away. And Michael Toglia, we've talked about, he struggled in the past. He's a first-round guy. You've got to give him a chance at some point and just continue to ride the wave, I think. They talk about it in basketball, ride the hot hand, but it seemingly is pretty fitting here for the Rockies, from my perspective, Aaron.
No, yeah, Monty had he has the power swing, and then he adjusted to slash the K rate down, but that has significantly hindered his power, right? As you mentioned. So he just struggles a lot with breaking pitches, and he slows his swing down a little bit and tries to put it in play and takes away from his power. So it's just not really working out. And he just can't seem to hit a breaking ball all that well, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I think the numbers reflect that. So that claim is well backed. But just looking at our agenda here, talk about the bullpen. It's been a little bit more of the same from the last time that we recorded, James. What, a month ago, me and you? Is that how long it's been?
Yeah. I mean, bullpens in the major league, it's so hard to have a good bullpen, and that's what separates contenders and World Series champions from everybody else, is the fact that they have good bullpens. But the Rockies just historically, obviously, have never really had a good bullpen, and this year is definitely not an exception, unfortunately. A lot of pain. That's all I can say.
Yeah, and we're gonna try to pick out things that have been working. And they're down Daniel Bard, they're down Justin Lawrence, two of their preseason, their 8th and 9th inning guys. Molina, he's the Rule 5 guy, right? So he's going to be on the big league squad all year long until the Rockies know that, if he's not a part of their future plans, that's the only time that they'll move him down. But he's continued to just rack up innings as a long inning guy. And just recently this past week, he had 4 innings pitched, gave up 5 hits, but only 1 earned run. And that was probably before the Minnesota blow up. But, you give up 17 runs. I think everyone's ERA gets nicked up a little bit.
So the Molina thing, some inside information here. So I was talking to Buddy when I was in St. Louis last Friday, he was going to start putting Molina in more high leverage situations. So that day, Molina came in for 2 innings, pitched in a 1-run game in the 6th and 7th, I believe. I believe he got through the 6th pretty unscathed, and then I kind of got one got away from him in the 7th. But I think Buddy's going to start moving Molina into kind of those more severe, more high pressure leverage situations.
And James, I mean, it makes sense. You got to find someone, right? Someone's got to step up.
No, the glaring issue right now with the bullpen is like you can have some room for error in the middle innings, but you need a guy that can literally close the door. And there is nobody so far that has been able to do that. Obviously, we've cycled through several people so far. You have Justin Lawrence, Kinley now, and his ERA is 7. He's been doing a lot better, but like you need somebody that can just close the door. And until you find that guy, like it's going to be a tough year.
And in game 2 in Minnesota, the one the Rockies won 5-4, they're up 5-2 in the 9th with 2 outs.
Yeah. Watching that live. Yeah.
Everyone around me that I was watching the game with kind of had that feeling like, oh my gosh, is he going to give
it go again, right?
Yeah. But the Rockies held on. They got the win. But it's been a ride. And so
trivia time. New thing that we're going to do. We're going to add it up. We're going to figure it out. Let's see how you do. You have 63 seconds. There is a reason I put 63 seconds on there to guess the ball player. I am going to give you random facts. You have to be able to guess it in these 63 seconds. You both can guess each other, but you can't say 3 names right away. You have to say it. Actually, you only get 1 guess per clue. I am totally stealing this idea from another pod, Beyond the Baseball. Or Baseball is Dead. So shout out to them for this idea. So you get 1 guess per clue, and you have to get it in 63 seconds. Okay. And it's all connected. It's just not random ass shit. Okay.
Gotcha.
Okay. Let me start the timer, and you are going to go in 3, 2, 1. Drafted in the 54th round in Arizona, or by Arizona.
Oh,
drafted in the 1st round by Colorado.
Okay, you just keep going until
58 wins as a Rocky. And if you are listening and you're on the chat, go ahead and type in your answer and see if you get it before the boys.
Yeah.
4.6 career ERA as a Rocky.
Okay.
We're down to 30 seconds. I'll go faster. 2 career homers, 1 during his debut.
Jason Jennings.
Boom.
Dang.
28 seconds left. You have defeated.
That was solid. 1 for 1.
Yes. ERA. He has an ERA plus as a Rocky of 103 ERA plus. Can you name the other 2 teams Jason Jennings played for?
Houston Astros.
Same state.
Rangers.
Yep. Good guess. He tossed a complete game shutout or in his debut as well, and then drafted in 1999, and then the last clue was JJ, were his initials. So you are 1-0.
As you started listing the first one, where like it couldn't have been German Marquez because of the draft stuff, but like the facts that you kept listing, Herman's got 2 home runs. He has probably an ERA around 4.6, 4 point.
It's probably close.
It started aligning. I was like, but it's not him.
No, it was awesome. All right, go back to what you guys were talking about. Arm barn. What do we do about it?
Yeah.
Well,
James, you're one of
is what we do.
You're one to know all time in trivia, James. So we'll have to keep that tracker going. But yeah, I mean, the bullpen, they've just been trying to mix it up, find an answer. Kara City, he was designated for assignment. Nick Mears really got shot up in that 8th inning in Minnesota yesterday.
Blow up.
Yeah. Angel Chivili, I still have to work on pronouncing his name, but the dude's 21 and got called up directly from Hartford. He's been getting slapped around a little bit. That's going to happen. Like you're getting broken into the league. I like the fact that he's here. I don't think, there's other guys that we could call up, but the other guys already in the bullpen weren't, printing outs and throwing up zeros with ease. And Jalen Beeks still has to find that late inning reliever, that asset in his game to handle the pressure because like you said, James, there's just not a guy that's been able to get the biggest outs of the game, the 27th out.
Riley Pint, how's he been doing? Do you know?
I don't have...
He is on the injured list. Not sure what his injury is, but he hasn't pitched in about a month and a half.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know what, when he'll be coming back, but the other options, just some of the ones that we have listed, we've seen Noah Davis, we've seen Carl Kaufman in the past at the big league level. Might one of them come back? Who knows? We talked about that, if they come back, will it be in a bullpen role because the starters are pretty damn good right now, and they're going to only get more backup with K-Free and Herman coming back soon. Evan Justice and Gavin Hollowell, they've been great. Justice, he had 4 strikeouts in 1.1 innings pitched, and Gavin Hollowell had 2 strikeouts in an inning that he threw. And so they've been working the strikeout stuff, continuing to perform well. Just a couple of other names to keep your eyes on. Austin Kitchen, he had he pitched 7 innings, or in his last 7 innings pitched, he's only given up 2 free passes, and that's something that Buddy likes to, limit the walks. And Jeff Criswell, in his last 1.1 innings, he had a walk and struck out 2. And so you'd like to see some of these names start to separate themselves from the bunch. But yeah, I don't know, James, what's the best way to improve this bullpen?
It's just going to be a revolving door until somebody separates themselves or provides some consistency, right? That's the only way you can go about it. And the best path to the major leagues is being a reliever. So, I mean, you're going to see a lot of names throughout the year go up and down, until somebody finally can do that thing, which is close the door, right? So it's going to be a lot of names, a lot of people that you haven't seen before that you might be a little surprised by all year long. It's going to be that way.
Yeah. And Aaron, should we throw up Burge's question and attack that?
This is a big topic. Matthew on the Instagram is also asking the question. How do we trade at deadline? Definitely meant to say who do we trade at the deadline? Bullpen needs some help. Burge here. What do the Rockies do with Elias Diaz and an impending free agent? And then you can throw in Jacob Stallings into that. And then the big part of that is the Drew Romo. We are on Drew Romo call-up watch because Elias is hurt. It might be a retroactive IL thing coming tomorrow. We'll see how he responds tomorrow at the field. But if he goes down, does Drew Romo get up and all that kind of stuff? But let's just focus on the trade conversation. Who do the Rockies move? And let's start with the catchers. Are either one of them going? And if so, do we see Drew Romo? Bars.
Yeah, I'll go first, James, and you kind of just
go ahead.
Return my thoughts. But I think one of Jacob Stallings and Elias Diaz has to be traded at the deadline. with Drew Romo. I mean, he's been knocking at the door for a while now, and he, you call Drew Romo up, he might have the most power of any catcher, in the big leagues. And so when you get a catcher that can produce offensively, like Elias Diaz has done for the last 3 years, the dude's been a machine with 2 outs and runners in scoring position. He seemingly always gets the big hit. And Jacob Stallings, he's been a really nice surprise, hitting right around 300, had 2 doubles yesterday in the loss. You can't trade both because you do need a mentor for Drew Romo. And, I mean, one of them has, if both of them continue to play well, you'd love to keep one of them. I think you've got to trade one and give Drew Romo the call-up. If this is the year that we're going to break every young guy in, you might as well, James.
No, I totally agree. Definitely need to try to move one of them. The other trade pieces, the first one that comes to mind was Brendan Rodgers, but now that he's hurt, kind of removes him from the equation. So I'm not sure that we're really in a selling position that's all that favorable to us. Yeah. I think it might be a typical kind of deadline for us where not a lot happens. And of course, fans, we look at expiring contracts and we say, we need to move this guy, but the Rockies, obviously, they're going to do their own thing with the front office. I mean, I go back to Trevor Story. He was on an expiring contract. It was pretty clear he didn't want to resign with the team, and yet we still didn't move him to try to get pieces in return. And I'm still, to this day, scratching my head about that. So, I mean, this team, this front office, you really have no idea what it is they're thinking or what they're trying to do. It's very difficult to digest. But one of the catchers should move. Stallings is weird because I feel like this year is an anomaly, and a lot of teams aren't going to be like, oh, well, Stallings, he's this consistent, and he's going to be a great bat all the time. No, he's a defensive catcher who happens to be hitting really well right now. I don't think anybody's going to be banking on that to be in the consistent factor. Diaz, on the other hand, he has proved himself over the last 3 years that he is a really good hitting catcher and a defensive catcher. So he probably provides the most value at this point if we're going to be selling. But at the same time, there was a little bit of a loyalty factor there with Diaz, from the fan side anyway. From the business side of baseball, obviously you need to factor that out. But I hope Diaz stays. Romo is going to get called up at some point. That's a given. But before we keep going with the trade talk, I want to talk about the All-Star game. Noah, do you think there's any All-Stars on this team?
Well, every team's got to have one, but it's all of a sudden gotten pretty interesting with Tovar and McMahon. And I mean, they're matching each other blow for blow for the home run lead. Mac took it back yesterday. He hit his 12th. But Tovar, I mean, I saw Patrick Lyons today put together a tweet. He has the second most extra base hits in the National League behind Shohei Ohtani. Tovar has turned into something really, really special. And I'm almost wanting, McMahon hasn't gotten an all-star nod, and he deserves one for the way he's played for so long in Colorado. Part of me wants McMahon to get that nod, but knowing that Tovar will get one in the future. But, man, I'd love to see Tovar get some recognition because for all the media coverage that Ellie De La Cruz gets, Tovar has outplayed him and has been the better player, and that needs to be recognized. Yeah,
that's crazy. That's crazy to think about. And Tovar is a very special player on the defensive side of the ball as well.
Oh, yeah.
And McMahon, I mean, McMahon's gold glove caliber as well. So,
yeah.
I mean, let's hope both of them make it. But I think that's it. I mean, I think it's those two, and the gap between those two and everybody else is very far.
Got to throw out Brenton Doyle. If you look at some of the outfielders, because the outfielder's light, as you know from fancy baseball, James. Brenton Doyle, speedster, great defense, hitting decent, making a name, might be a dark horse.
No, I appreciate that thought, Aaron, but outfield is so deep from how many good players they're
Name
all.
3 right now that you're putting in front of Brendan Doyle. You have 63 seconds.
3 I'm putting in front of him. I don't know. Noah, go.
No, I mean it's a valid question.
Yes, I can, but you're putting too much pressure on me.
Well, it's bizarre. It's been bizarre this year because the outfield numbers with Mookie moving to shortstop, it's way more wide open. And Corbin Carroll's decline, he's hurt. I don't want to loop him in,
but
it's a discussion, and they were kind of talking about it on the broadcast yesterday. If you include Elias Diaz in the catching discussion and Cal Quantrill in the pitchers, for a team that's 20, for Cal Quantrill, Tony, for a team that's I think 20 games below 500, or maybe it's 19, they have 5 guys that could be in the All-Star discussion, so it doesn't really add up. You know what I like?
Yeah,
it's interesting.
Just saying, it's definitely an option. Want to give up an update on Kyle Freeland's rehab assignment pitching today. He pitched for the Albuquerque Isotopes. 4 innings pitched, 3 hits, 1 earned run, 1 walk, 4 strikeouts. That earned run came off a homer, which is very common in New Mexico. 48 pitches, 35 strikes. And the next cool thing is he gave way to Greg Bird. Don't forget about Birdie Man down there. Yeah, we got Evan Justice, Gavin Howell, and Greg Bird, who I think this might be his first rehab as well.
Yeah, and real quick, Aaron, I'm curious. I saw you talking about it on Twitter a little bit, but Nolan Jones, Albuquerque, what's happening there?
He's just having a routine day off. He is in the dugout. Huge shout out to Buffs 505, new follower, new friend, new part of the community. He saw Nolan Jones at the ballpark today, so Nolan Jones will not be with the big league club, at least as of tonight. Who knows?
Yeah, I know. They'd love to get him back because then you can start working. I mean, Jake Cave's an everyday player. You put Nolan in his spot and left, and you look around the diamond, and there's a lot of future pieces now with Tovar and Amador up the middle. James, real quick, this wasn't on the discussion on our pregame sheet, but and Aaron, you can jump in on this too, because I'm genuinely so curious. But with Brendan Rodgers going down, I'm projecting our competitive window to open in 2026, 2027. If we're not in the playoffs for 2027, I'll be very disappointed. 2026, we should be right at the knocking at the door. Is B-Rod a part of that future plans? I mean, the dude won a Gold Glove, okay, and the bat was really coming alive without being too thunderous. I don't know. Is he our playoff or postseason second baseman like DJ was in 2017, 2018, or is it Amador's role to just win now?
I'm going to say probably not. Just because of the contract thing. I think he's arbitration eligible. I was trying to look it up real quick now. I don't know if the Rockies extend him just because of the injury history along with it. No, he's still here with 2026, or he's arbitration 3 at the end of 25. So he becomes a free agent in 2026. I think it's going to take a lot for him to just stay healthy again. That's not his fault in any way. Like him running down first to beat out a double play and pulling up on a hammy is like, what are you supposed to do about that? Like, it's just bad luck. But with what the Rockies feel like Amador is, obviously, and what you can probably put in there, I don't know, because Brendan Rodgers is like one of my favorite. I don't think he is one of the favorite players. And then before James can talk, he sent a private message about his outfielders, Ozuna, Profar, and Tatis. Ozuna's a DH, so he doesn't even count. So B-Rod, is he part of the 2026 window? James, that was a question for you.
Ozuna plays outfield when he's not DHing, so technically he's an outfielder.
Well, it's even insane that we're, Profar. Who would have seen that coming last year in purple? But that's besides the point. B-Rod, I know James, you're a big B-Rod guy, or you at least like to talk about him in trades. So
no, I love B-Rod. B-Rod's I really like him. I think he's a great hitter, but he lacks power at this point. It's not working out, unfortunately. Back to Profar though, that's really interesting. He's because of fantasy baseball, he's ranked 15th in fantasy baseball, which I don't think anybody had money on that.
No, I mean, I guess he's former number 1 overall pick. So there's always been something there, but
no, yeah. And he was really bad, right? I mean, people were like, oh, he's a huge bust. And then he came on and was like, okay, now he's a respectable player. And now he's like, beginning of his 30s, and he's a top player in the league now. So in San Diego, of all places, which is, historically hitter friendly.
Yeah, right. I just think, I mean, kind of getting back to the B-Rod question and the future of the competitive Rockies, you really, I mean, Amador is 21, 22, and Tovar super young, signed through till he's 30. I mean, I know he's 22. McMahon has really started to play, I mean, maybe the best season of his career so far. We've always seen streaks, but this year's looked different. You have Romo at catcher knocking at the door. The outfield is coming together with Beck. I know he's hurt. Brenton Doyle, the jumps he's made they're amazing. And he was always going to be a Rocky center fielder for a long time just based off of his defense. Now the offense is there. I mean, he's been hitting 5th some games, 2nd a lot of the time. And Nolan Jones and Wright, I don't know what more you could ask for from a futuristic perspective when looking at this Rockies team. I'm trying to be cautiously optimistic right now because there's pieces. There are pieces.
No, it's really exciting, honestly. I mean, anybody that knows anything about baseball, like it is, the record's not where you want it to be right now, but there are some pieces coming through that like you're really excited to see and how it pans out. And I think from our perspective, it's just like it's there. Can we develop it correctly? That's the only thing, right? Like we're just being, like you said, cautiously optimistic about, can we please just develop these pieces the right way? Because if we can, in 2 years from now, we could be talking about wild card, right?
Rocktober,
baby. Sign me up, please.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. But
all right, before we get to the next series talk, Rhino is a longtime listener, first-time caller. Yes, I mess up Jake Bird and Greg Bird all the time, so my bad. But he did have actually a good point here. Good question. Who is at first base when they compete in 2026? Before James answers, Chris Bryant. There you go.
Yeah, I mean,
Grant Levine.
That'd be sick.
Grant Levine.
Zach
really what?
Zach Kokoska.
Zach Kokoska. Okay.
Sterling Thompson.
Yeah, Sterling Thompson. That's a great point. Sterling can play multiple positions though, so that's what makes him valuable is the fact that, he can, if the bat's where it needs to be, we can slot him in kind of anywhere.
Jack Caglione.
Oh, yeah, whoa. That one would.
Whoa.
Yeah, I mean, in a perfect world, that'd be sweet. If we don't go Chase Burns, you know what I mean? Like you said, the draft coverage is about to really heat up at Blake Street Banner, but that'd be a fun one. And yeah, I almost think KB is not leaving the team. Like everyone out there that doesn't want to hear that. He's not.
No, it's over. It's done.
He's not leaving the team though.
No, I get that, but he's not playing either. Like
no,
it's just not.
But
going to be a thing on the books.
He got hurt making a twisting catch with a net, and that, like, I hate to see him hurt. Right? I don't think you can play him in the field anymore. You have to DH him with his 186 average. If he's going to play, he's going to be DH, and so that's where it gets kind of tough. But yeah, I don't know.
No, KB is not a factor at this point, and I don't think he's going to be at any point soon, unfortunately. Not being negative, just stating the facts.
Yeah, well, just reading the average off. But looking ahead, this next week against the Pirates, a lot of exciting stuff. Paul Skeens is scheduled to throw on Sunday at Coors Field. That'll be awesome. Jones is going on Saturday. I'm blanking on his first name, but he's another flamethrower for Pittsburgh.
Jared
Jones. Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, he shut the Rockies down in Pittsburgh. I believe took his performance into the 9th inning earlier this year. And then the Dodgers come to town. That will be an always exciting ballpark, at least. There's going to be a lot of people there. And so
a lot of Rockies fans or other fans?
A lot of people.
All right, gotcha.
And then they're going to finish off their longest home stretch of the year with the next opponent being Washington. We might be able to get a podcast in between then. I am looking ahead for next Thursday, the Rockies play. So that'll be interesting because I will be at the stadium. We'll see what we can pull off. But yeah, those are the upcoming series.
What's your prediction
for the
home
next week or the 10-game homestand in total?
For the 10-game homestand.
Oh, well, in our preseason article where we all made our predictions, my bold random one was that the Rockies swept the Dodgers in this 4-game series. So I have to stick to that. Yeah, that was all the way back in February or March when we wrote that.
I hope you're right, but
yeah,
I'm
that'd
not
be
going to play any money on that.
But so I'm going to include that in my prediction and then hedge a little bit and say that we go 6-4. Because that's what I think is realistic, even without a sweep.
Okay.
What about you?
I'm going to be a little pessimistic here. I think we go 4-6.
Okay, but I mean that's right. That's 400 winning percentages above where they're at right now. So,
and don't forget your hot take. Tony here. McMahon takes Skeens deep.
Whoa!
What are your hot takes for these 7 games?
I mean, mine has to be that we're sweeping them. I'm just got to lay that down.
Yeah, that's clearly the hot take there.
Yeah. What about you?
My hot take is that Amador has a home run from both sides of the plate during the 10-game series.
We'll be here for that. That'd be awesome. But yeah, Aaron, now offer your predictions for the next 10 games and give us some Angel Chivili Statcast.
Noah Davis is in for the Albuquerque Isotopes right now too. So new friend of the pod, family pod, making his way back too. So maybe that's my prediction. We see a Noah Davis in a game in this 7-game homestand. He will pitch against the Dodgers at some point. It's weird that he's in relief. I think that's a thing.
I think that's for the best, to be honest.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
So my hot take, Noah Davis makes a appearance and the Rockies go 7 games. I'm gonna go you said 10 games. Let's go 5-5. Going flat even. Keep it very vanilla here. So yeah.
All right,
cool. Yeah, cool.
Hope we win all 10, to be honest.
Can you name that'd be great. Can you name another outfielder?
Teoscar Hernandez.
All right, keep going. All right, so Angel Chivili. James, how many innings has Angel Chivili pitched this year?
In the major leagues?
Yes.
10.
Wrong. Lower. 4.1 innings pitched.
Imagine
being on a podcast and not knowing that.
I was going to say like 7, but I went with 10 just because.
He's been out there a lot, but.
Yeah, it feels like he's been out there a long time, brother.
Do you know how many strikeouts he has?
He has 6 strikeouts.
Noah, do you know how many strikeouts?
Is it still 1?
It is still 1. He got his first against the Cardinals.
Dang it.
Don't remember who it was against. James, do you know the 3 pitches that Angel Chivili throws?
Yeah, it's a sinker, a slider, and a changeup.
Way to read the rundown. He's here, baby. Let's go. So Angel Chivili, there is not a lot of Statcast numbers out there. He's sitting at a 10.38 ERA, 5.3 strikeout rate, 0 walk rate percentage, which is nice. But his sinker, changeup, slider are his 3 main pitches. His sinker is acting more like a fastball than I would say sinker. We're about to dive into that. It's going to be interesting to see how he manipulates and starts making his stuff that much better. His changeup is easily his best pitch. In 19 pitches, mostly against left-handed batters, there is a 0 batting average on it, which also means there's a 0 slugging percentage on it, which is pretty cool. It has more movement than the rest of the league. It sits at about 86 miles an hour. Trying to get to the movement. Sinker, it drops 18 inches, which is I'm talking changeup. Changeup is his best pitch. No, what am I talking about? Jesus Christ, get it together.
You know what's amazing is I guessed all of his pitches, and I really had no idea.
Yeah, his changeup. Yeah, his changeup, not his sinker. His sinker is his worst one. His changeup is his best one. Yeah, very impressed that you didn't say fastball. His changeup is his best one. 0 run value. Has the more movement on it than the rest of the league. Sits about 86. And then that sinker doesn't sink as much as the league. It's about 5% percentage less vertical movement than the rest of the league. And that sits about 95. So you have that 10 mile per hour difference, but the sinker ain't sinking, so to speak. It needs a little bit more depth to it, I think, to really start getting ball players out, especially at the big league level. But that changeup is elite, and if he can match something, add a little bit more velo or add a little bit more movement with that sinker, I think he will be a nice piece with the Colorado Rockies Major League ball team.
Yeah, and I mean, like we kind of talked about, I'm all for letting him get his feet, letting him get grounded at the major league level while we are not in the competitive window yet. So yeah, I love the strategy that the Rockies have rolled out this year.
No, I mean, this is how you develop people, right? So in this case, he should be pitching in games that, we're down by 5 runs or more. And then when he's getting people out consistently, then you start, putting him in 2-run games, 1-run games, so on and so forth. I think there was some pretty hard pushback against Buddy, and obviously probably had, some limited arms, but, he put him, I think it was like his first inning or second inning only, put him in a 1-run game, and he didn't do very well. So there's a lot of pushback against that. But anyway, I digress.
Yeah, that was I think it was like one of his first or second appearances. It was like,
yeah,
all right,
second appearance.
I think it was an arm thing, though. I think there wasn't a lot of options.
Yeah,
he hasn't played every day.
Yeah, it's a tough place for Buddy and on health, right? It's tough for both people, but Buddy's going to take the blame at the end of the day.
Yep, and yeah, he does that. And to your point, the throw him into the kind of not stressful innings and then throw him in there. That's been his plan. It feels like with Buddy's plan with Anthony Molina. Like we all remember Molina's first debut, and then all of a sudden he's now in 1-run ball games pitching closely. So I think Buddy does have a system in play. We don't always get it, but we don't always agree with it. But it does. I think he does have the player's mentality in mind every time he does make a decision.
Yeah, and especially from a pitcher side, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. Like he
That's
gets
the right way to go.
What's going to go well. So, I think that is my Angel Chivili Statcast there, and I think I'm done.
Yeah,
Aaron, I can name you a couple outfielders if you want.
Yeah, because you've had 20 minutes to look it up. Go.
Schwarber, Bellinger, Jesse Winker, Chaz Chisholm, Connor Joe, if you want to go there.
Yeah, we get to see him in Colorado this week.
Yeah.
Tomorrow.
That's going to be a fun little reunion.
Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Off the dome.
Right. Everybody clap for James for being able to read something. Let's go. He's here, baby. Yes. Proud of you. All right. I'm good, fellas.
Take us home, man. Oh, James, that's all you. Take us home.
All right. Go Rocks.
Woo!
You have to keep going until the video plays. He left. What a loser.
Thank you for watching and listening. Please check out our link tree for more content.